We return with breaking news now coming in from Tata Sons. The board meet has just ended, and the latest news is that Tata Sons board has renewed Mr. N Chandrasekaran's term as the executive chairman for the next 5 years. Now, there had been, news building up that perhaps it may not be renewed or whether it would be or not. So now the news is that the term has been renewed. Nisha Podar, my colleague, joins in with more details. Nisha.
That's right. It's the big announcement that everybody was waiting and watching out for. Continuity and the leadership position is extremely important for such a large conglomerate, and that big announcement has come in. Tata Sons board had met today and has unanimously accepted the reappointment and extension given to N Chandrasekaran for the next 5 years as the chairman of Tata Sons. This is a very big announcement coming in, and also remember that an important detail has been mentioned in their announcement that Ratan Tata, the chairman emeritus of the group, was also a special invitee in the decision making as well as in giving his submission as far as the performance of N Chandrasekaran is concerned. And he did mention that he was satisfied with the last 5 years of performance by N Chandrasekaran leading the group Tata Sons. Also in a statement, N Chandrasekaran has said, and I quote, "It has been a privilege to lead the Tata Group for the first 5 years, and I am delighted at the opportunity to lead the Tata Group for another 5 years in its next phase." So it's a very important development coming in. Now remember, Tata Group had been waiting and watching out for this particular development to come in. Third week is when N Chandra's first term gets over, and the extension has been in the waiting, and a business continuity as well as leadership continuity has been the cornerstone that the market was awaiting. Now remember that his TCS performance over the years as the cash cow, as the crown jewel for the group, has been one of the biggest significant performance metrics based on which a lot of faith was put in him when Tata Sons was going through the most challenging period in terms of its leadership crisis when it came to Cyrus Mistry being ousted by the board of Tata Sons way back in 2016, and after that the appointment in Jan 2017 of N Chandrasekaran really helped in restoring the market confidence as well as leadership, and gave that assurance to the large community of the shareholders who are invested in the listed companies, several listed companies of Tata Sons. And here and also a word of support coming in from Ratan Tata, who also leads Tata Trusts, and to take forward the ethos as well as the ethics as well as the agenda of Tata Trusts, which has been the guiding light for Tata Sons, is also very important. And he has got a word of support coming in from Ratan Tata as well in his reappointment in the next term. So 10 years it is for N Chandra at the helm of Tata Sons, and a key metrics to be looked at going forward is also going to be the big Air India win, which has been touted as one of his biggest successes in his last term. And the next term, the aviation ambitions with 3 companies under the fold of Tata Sons in this particular sector will be one of the most important aspects to look at. Needless to say that there are various debt-laden, capital-intensive companies in which N Chandrasekaran has personally really looked at the resolutions made, be Tata Tele, which got sold to Bharti Airtel, even Tata Steel reviving, Tata Motors and JLR revival was very important for Tata Group under the leadership of N Chandrasekaran, and these are some of the most important aspects that N Chandra has worked for. Now remember, a large part of his tenure also for Tata Sons went behind also fighting the legal battle against Cyrus Mistry, and the Supreme Court judgment in favor of Tata Sons was one of the victorious moments. But it's an unfinished agenda for the present leadership under Tata Sons 2.0 under N Chandrasekaran. Chandrasekaran now, because the terms of the separation and the amicable settlement with Cyrus Mistry, which could really take the energy of the leadership as well as management. But then chip shortage and the way emphatically as the India Inc. leader N Chandra had come out and stated that India will look at Atmanirbharta in the chip shortage aspect as well, and Tata Group will be taking the lead in really manufacturing the chips which are required and so critical for the auto business in the country. That again was one of the very big leadership successes and the word of support and that backing coming in for the country that came in from N Chandrasekaran as a leader of India Inc. So these are some of the most important highlights of N Chandra's 5 years of tenure, and of course simplification of the overall group when it comes to realty as well as infrastructure or the consumer businesses, taking away from Tata Chemicals. So a lot of cluster formation and group simplification has also been done. And one unfinished agenda really is in Tata Power, where the renewable business value unlocking is still being worked upon for now more than a couple of years, and that remains as an unfinished agenda and could be something that N Chandrasekaran could be looking at. And also remember that the groups have been giving out their sustainability goals, while each of the Tata companies have been very, very critical and followed this particular path. A group articulation on sustainability, which remember is also one of the cornerstones of Tata Trusts, is something that would be expected from N Chandrasekaran in this next term. So yes, it's a big announcement, the largest corporate development that we have seen in the country in the waiting, and I would say that it has really taken time to really evolve, and the final extension has come really at the fag end of N Chandra's this term. But it also came after he rose in terms of his leadership, with the final feather in the cap being the bid for Air India, and Tata Group has won it, and Maharaja has really come back under the Tata fold. So these are some of the important highlights. And going forward as well, digital trust, that is one of the expert areas where N Chandrasekaran has been personally looking at. They have launched the name of the super app as Tata Neo, and also made some significant acquisitions in that particular space in really getting the new age companies coming into the fold of Tata's digital business, that is Big Basket as well as also One MG, and has been giving a fight in this particular space. So the digital trust will be something very important, and the launch of the super app.
All right, Nisha, thanks very much. So the big news, N Chandrasekaran's term at the helm of Tata Sons has been renewed for another 5 years. In fact, let's hear out from an earlier conversation that we had with him in 2017 when he was first appointed as the chairman of Tata Sons.
I spent the first month or so looking at all the data and taking stock, and then I formed an agenda which I played it back to the board later on. I think fundamentally for me it's about there are big positives first of all in the group. I was just completely overwhelmed by the level of support I got from within the group as well as from corporate India. And the single most thing that also impacted me is the level of trust that this group enjoys, and everybody wants you to succeed. So there's a tremendous amount of goodwill. While the strength of the group is the portfolio and the platform that you have, and pretty much we have a tremendous opportunity in each of the sectors. On the other side, the complexity of the group, it's extremely complex. And if we have to move forward, that has to be addressed. So in a manner of speaking, I feel if I can use 3 words, it will be like simplify, synergize, and scale.
Okay, well, we'll be hearing a lot more of this news in the hours to come. But for now, it's time for us to wrap up. Shaina, Ashish, thanks very much for joining in. Do stay tuned in. The team of Closing Bell will join you next.